So there is a lot to be said about preparations for a natural disaster, a WRL situation, or without rule of law, or shit hits the fan scenario, zombie apocalypse, what have you. I live under a philosophy, prepare for the worst, expect the rest. But the one topic that I don't see a lot, or I'm just not digging hard enough, in part of your preparations, I don't see a lot of people adaptating or showing, footwear. There's a lot of people with firearms, tactical gear, ammunition, food, whatnot. But one of the most important pieces of your body, one of the most important appendages, is your feet. That is your mobility in a worst case scenario if you don't have a vehicle. Going out and finding a good quality boot is probably in your better interest. Now, I have 3 sets of boots here that are, grade A in my book. The first boot I have is my commercial everyday hunting boot. This one is a 400 gram thinsulate. This one is marketed and sold by a company called Shields, which is our sporting goods store up in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure they don't make the boot, but it is a good boot. I'd really like to find out who makes it. I know Sportsman's Guide has their guide gear boot that looks identical to this, so I think it's the same boot. So I'd like to know who actually makes the boot, but it's been a very, very good performer. It's been a great hunting boot. I've had it for at least 3 years. So finding yourself a good commercial boot. Find boots like Red Wing or Wolverine or Timberland, depending on the boot, generally makes a good boot. Going ahead and finding a good Rocky boot. Now, one of my last resort boots, or something that I keep on hand, is an Ultima boot. And this is a military contracted boot. There are reasons why I like Ultima, but we won't get into those. This boot is the most comfortable piece of footwear I can put on my feet. I'm very limited on what I can purchase for footwear because I am very much flat-footed. And I fell in love with Ultima boots. Generally, most military contracted boot is going to be generally very comfortable for me. So I went with an Ultima boot. I'm not entirely sure, what the model number on this one is. Well, according to this is a model 5300. This one is rocking the Panama sole. I like the Panama sole because you don't have mud that goes ahead and sticks to the bottom of it. Now my fiance, she also, and by the way, these are hot weather boots. These are no good in the winter, so I recommend getting a, winter boot on top of that. Going ahead and buying a good winter boot like a Sorel, but I'll go ahead and do a video on, winter footwear as well too. But again, these are hot weather boots. Now my fiance runs an Ultima boot. She runs the Sierra sole. And the model number on this particular Ultima boot would be a 5200, I believe, series of boot. Like I say, this one's got a Sierra sole. It's a smaller boot. It doesn't have quite the heel as the Panama sole or the jungle boot, whatever you want to call it. But this one's very comfortable for it. After going ahead and taking the GI inner soles out, because the GI inner soles kind of suck. Go ahead and put yourself a nice aftermarket insole in there and you get a damn good boot. These are very comfortable for her. She goes hiking with these. These are a great choice as far as a boot. Now, you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a military boot, but generally the military, there's a reason behind their madness when they contract certain companies, because they generally make a very good piece of footwear. So, part of your preparations, go ahead and buy your ammunition, buy your firearms, stockpile food, water, but don't forget about the boot. This is the most important piece of footwear that's going to be on your body, besides a jacket, besides your tactical gear. What do you think's got to haul all that stuff? Your feet. you know, if you don't have a car, you have a car that is disabled and you need to get somewhere, you're going to be, you know, on your feet, you know, walking, running, doing whatever. I highly recommend a good piece of footwear for that. But like I stated, you know, there's a lot of good commercial companies out there. There's a lot of good military contracted companies. There's Ultima, there's Belvedere, there's Bates, and then of course you got your civilian manufacturers, which I listed a few. But you know, go on the internet, go type up, you know, military boot or a good boot, because you got to understand, a boot like this isn't exactly the cheapest. These go anywhere from $100 to $200. That's a wide range, give or take, you know, 60 or 70 bucks. But you get what you pay for. You know, you go ahead and buy a military spec boot that is for $30. You're going to get $30 worth of boot. You know, those boots are meant for, you know, occasional use. If you go airosofting, you know, once a month, or if you are, you know, in a parade and you need a military boot, that's what those are for. Those aren't for everyday use. Now, boots like this are for everyday use. And footwear is an important thing to throw in with your preparation, because again, the likeliness of you finding a good piece of footwear is pretty unlikely. So go ahead and find, you know, your good commercial boot, or find your good military counterpart boot. Highly recommended. But anyway, this is just my smaller short video on footwear in a natural disaster, WROL, shit hits the fan, zombie apocalypse scenario. Because footwear is going to be hard to find. It's going to be just as hard to find a good piece of shoe, or a good shoe like ammunition. Ammunition is going to be relatively hard. You know, food will be scarce, water will be scarce. So, you know, go ahead. As of right now, go out and buy a good pair of boots, because they'll probably last you for a really long time. Or go buy 2 or 3 pairs of boots. Buy them while you can. But at any rate, this is Lock and Reload with your footwear in whatever scenario. As always, catch you later.
She said, I've got Napoleon complex. I don't know why, but I think she's right.